The Datascape is now available on Spotify. Go check us out. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to the Datascape. I'm here joined by my co-host Noir, Little Bomber, and we have a very special guest in today's episode. We have Keycast. If you guys don't know who Keycast is a Twitter influencer. I guess I could say X, whatever you prefer. You may not know them because they don't upload too frequently on YouTube, but if you have seen or been around on the Kingdom Hearts social media accounts, they have nearly 10,000 followers on Twitter because they have made it their mission during this Kingdom Hearts drought period to explain and just make clear what the Kingdom Hearts lore and story is, fun facts, just misconceptions, making sure people know what's going on. We do not have a lot of people doing that, to be honest. We have a lot of people talking about lore, theorizing about lore, talking about news, talking about the drought and Missing Link is missing, making all those jokes, but we don't have a lot of people who are just trying to make it their mission to let people know what the heck the lore is. There's a freaking car honking outside, but I hope that doesn't get picked up on the mic. Anyways, how are you doing, Keycast?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here amongst you guys, and I'm happy to be here.
So, for those that don't know, in the background, this is our second time recording this intro because I messed up the first intro. So we're yapping today, like usual. But today's episode, we're going to be talking a lot about the story of Kingdom Hearts, theories, and we're going to do a little bit of an interview on Keycast because I know some of you probably are aware of them on Twitter. Seriously though, what kind of made you want to, I guess, make that your account gonna make you start posting? Because you post pretty frequently on Twitter, and every time there's lore to be explained or a misconception to be cleared up, you're right there to make sure people are in the know.
It actually, I think it started for me when after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and I started seeing a trend on Twitter of everyone questioning what does the power of waking do? What is the power of waking? When Kingdom Hearts 3 first came out, there were so many fans confused about what it was, even after playing the game. And then something about me just clicked and said, you know what? Let me try and help the fans out. So that was actually my very first lore explained post. And I did a nice little breakdown of the power of waking and just going step by step into what it is, what it can do. And then because of that and seeing how much it blew up among the fan base, it just inspired me to continue to do more.
Yeah, I can totally see that too, because I just scrolling through your account right now. I've been following on Twitter for a little bit, but just scrolling through your account, we've interacted many times through social media. A lot of your tweets, they have reach. You're getting 80K impressions here, 100K impressions there. Some of your tweets are even higher than that. Most of these tweets have thousands of likes, hundreds of retweets, and it. You have more. I think you have more followers than me on Twitter. Actually, yeah, you're close to 10,000 followers on Twitter. You have more. You have a couple thousand more followers than I do. Me and Noir. So you really have a core Kingdom Hearts audience on Twitter. And I gotta ask, man, how? Why don't you upload on YouTube? What's
You
that?
know,
Why is it just on Twitter?
I mean, I currently don't have the necessary equipment and stuff to make YouTube videos. I always wanted to. I am planning later on in the future to maybe do Twitch streaming of me playing through the series, and maybe along the way I'll try and work on making YouTube videos. So the idea has always been there. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. So I resort to just doing little written posts on Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna contest you right quick. Straight up, I don't think you need that much equipment to do YouTube. You got a microphone. You got a
You
decent
really don't.
microphone. You got I don't know. You can edit some video. Get some editing software. There's many ways to get them. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink. But I don't know. Streaming. I think streaming honestly takes a lot more equipment than recording does. But shoot, I think you would kill it on YouTube, especially because I don't think there's that many people who upload consistently that explain lore. Obviously the key keepers, myself, people like Nemo, we have a lot of people in the community who have explained lore videos, timeline videos, and people who have little videos among their catalog of content explaining concepts and stuff, but like a whole channel I think that's like dedicated to explaining lore and just making sure that the misconceptions in the series or things that people are a little bit more confused about are better understood. I think that channel will go crazy. I absolutely think it would kill on YouTube. Like, shoot, social media is a big indicator. Usually, if you can be successful on like Twitter, Instagram, or even like Twitch and stuff, it a lot of the time that does translate to a YouTube audience like pretty easily. So I think you would automatically, just off of your Twitter audience, you would have a pretty good start if you got into the content scene.
I appreciate that. I'll definitely look into it more and try to see what I could do for the fan base.
Hey, heck yeah, shoot, I'm here to help you out. You know, we got the connections, we know everyone around here, so we could we could definitely help you get into that. But
Most definitely.
I wanted to ask you as well. Um, just how did you like kind of how did you get into the Kingdom Hearts series? Because like I, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say you're like new to the fandom because you've been around for like quite a bit on social media, but I guess like you've definitely gotten a little bit more popularity and a lot more followers on Twitter uh, recently. So like, how did you get into Kingdom Hearts, and how do you like feel about like your growth on the platform so far, like in the KH community?
All right. Well, I got into the series way back in 2002 when it came out on the PlayStation 2, but it was more so by chance. Like I didn't even know about Kingdom Hearts. I didn't know what it was. It was my cousin's birthday, and me and my mom went to one of the game stores to pick up a gift for my cousin. And my mom picked up Kingdom Hearts, and I had no idea. I didn't even see the case. I didn't see nothing. It was wrapped up. We got to my cousin's house for the birthday. They opened up the gift, and I saw the cover of the case, and I saw Donald, Goofy, and Sora and all them, and it's just the aesthetic of the cover alone, and because I was a big Disney fan back then, just made me interested in the game itself. And I wasn't even a Final Fantasy fan. I didn't even know what Final Fantasy was either back then. It was just the case, the cover art of the case is what drew me into the series. And it's just been straightforward from there. I've just been keeping it up with the series. I've been playing it, and I love it.
That's actually really interesting because to me what you described was a very like kind of classic way of getting into Kingdom Hearts, but I sort of feel like that type of Kingdom Hearts fan is rare nowadays. Like back in the day, that would have been like the classic story for a lot of people got into Cage, you know, seeing that box art. The box arts for Kingdom Hearts, we know they're peak. They're amazing. I kind of feel like the fans who got into the series like in 2002, like when KH1 came out, or they got into it just off of like looking at the box art. Like I feel like those fans are, I won't say dying, but it's definitely becoming a little bit more rare, or I guess not as it's not the number one way people get into the series. Because a lot of people, what I think a lot of people don't realize, there's so many fans who got into Kingdom Hearts through the remix era, or got into Kingdom Hearts through like the PC releases. So they're into like these more modern versions of the Kingdom Hearts games. They haven't played Days, they haven't played Recoded. A lot of them,
They
you
don't
know,
know the struggle of
yeah,
like having a final mix version out there that you couldn't play because you didn't own a Japanese PS2. They don't know the struggle.
exactly. So it's like it's really interesting to hear. And I honestly, I mess with that a lot because that's me. Like I didn't get into Kingdom Hearts in 2002, but I got into Kingdom Hearts like around that PS2 like period. I think I got the year I played KH1 was like 04, 05, something like that. That was when I first played it, and then you know rest is kind of history. But it's also interesting to hear that you're a Disney fan. Okay, are you still a Disney fan, or are you kind of falling out?
I'd say I'm still a Disney fan. I like to check out their movies here and there, the new ones, but I'm very like, I still like love the old school ones, like back in like the early 2000s, so those hold a very special place in my heart, but I still love Disney.
Okay, I'm the same way. Now that I think is very rare to hear. I actually feel like a lot of the community. We made a whole episode talking about how people are like Disney's very controversial when it comes to Kingdom Hearts nowadays. Like some people, you know, they think obviously it needs to be in the series. I'm in that ballpark. Like Kingdom Hearts isn't Kingdom Hearts without Disney. And you have some people with KH4, they think that Disney's like ruining KH, especially with KH3. Um, It was interesting to hear like that you're like a Disney fan who's into Kingdom Hearts, maybe even like more so on that spectrum than like Final Fantasy or just like pure Kingdom Hearts as a whole. Uh, how do you feel about like newer Disney movies and like how do you feel about like newer Disney movies or just animated movies like in general recently?
I enjoy most of the new one. I'm trying to think of the most recent Disney movie I saw not too long ago. But I've loved all the new ones they've been doing so far. Tangled, Coco, Big Hero 6. They were all great Disney movies. Like I don't think there's any newer ones that I did disliked so far that I've seen.
Okay, are you an Encanto fan?
Encanto. Which one was Encanto again? That was
Man,
Oh Lord.
no, I
You know
know
what it is?
I'm
I
an
haven't
Encanto
I
stan,
don't think
dude.
I don't think I've seen Encanto.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
no.
I
That
mean,
was the wrong answer.
you have to see it. I know people in the chat. There's some people who like hate Encanto. They're like, I hate this new era Disney stuff. I love Encanto. That movie came out the perfect time for me. Tells a beautiful story. That movie's peak. That was one of Disney's like COVID era movies, kind of sorta. Like I say, end of COVID. Like I think it released at the end of 2021, something like that. But I have to ask because the second part of that question I asked earlier was how are you like feeling about your like general growth in the fandom as of late? Like, shoot, dude, you're probably one of the more followed Kingdom Hearts accounts on like Twitter. I mean, like dedicated Kingdom Hearts accounts where like you post pretty actively and you're out there in the community. Like every time you tweet, it's gonna like get traction, especially if it's a lore tweet. So like, how does that kind of feel to have that sort of like attention and like eyeballs like on your posts like that?
Well, first, I just want to say I'm grateful to everyone who follows me in the community and who supports me, including you guys, because it's just really nice to be a part of such a wonderful fandom. And like I always said to myself, as much as I love the series, I always wanted to like give back in a way. So like I felt like I wanted to like give something back to this wonderful fandom for what they did to me. So that's why I work so hard with the lore explained, and I even welcome people who follow me. I tell them, I said, listen, if you want to just message me directly, you can message me straight directly with any questions you have at any time, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible.
That's actually awesome. That's like that old school creator mindset I love. There's a lot of that in the Kingdom Hearts community. The more we've been like interviewing people, a lot of the KH like creators and a lot of the Kingdom Hearts influencers, they have that like old school creator mentality. It's honestly one of my favorite things about this community. Like, man, I know like new school content creators. I'm not trying to create a bridge. New school content creators are cool. They're awesome, but there's definitely a difference a little bit like in the landscape of content creation pre KH3 and kind of now, I guess. And I don't know, I love to hear the whole giving back to the fandom stuff because that's, I don't know, I resonate with that a lot. I really do resonate with that a lot because that's why I'm even a creator in the first place. I kind of want to give back to the series that gave so much to me when I was growing up. There were so many days where like not to get too dark, but there were so many days where like during high school, middle school, where man, I thought my world was ending. I know every middle schooler, every preteen feels that way, but like
Hmm.
I legit, like I felt like my world was ending. I was stressed out, like beyond belief. Stuff was happening that I just wasn't dealing with well. And Kingdom Hearts, a lot of things that would motivate me was looking forward to KH3, looking forward to 2.8, looking forward to the next Kingdom Hearts game, looking forward to Dream Drop coming out. And I don't know, I got to give back to this series like somehow. And I don't know, being content creator is I guess my best way of doing it. And it's cool to hear like you have a similar mentality with making sure people understand the story because the story is I don't think the story is as complicated as people make it out to be, but I do understand why people say that at the same time, which can transition us into our next topic for both of you. How do you guys feel about the whole Kingdom Hearts story is complicated thing?
Noir, you want to go first or?
Sure. I've had this conversation before, and I compare it oftentimes like with friends that I talk to with like other series that they're into. I have a friend who is like a diehard Zelda fan and will like talk about Kingdom Hearts being complicated. I'm like, you don't even know your full timeline for your series, okay? But it's half true, half not, right? A lot of series like Kingdom Hearts, yes, there is a bit of convoluted plots or like weird stuff, right? But it's also just a ton of stuff to remember, right? So it's half complicated, half just a lot of stuff.
Honestly, I have the same thought process. It's just a lot to remember when you go into this series. You are like being brought into like a new world. So you got to get used to the terms. There's so many different terms, gimmicks, and stuff you just got to remember and you got to remember as you continue playing through the series. So you got to go in here. It's like you're walking into a different world. It really is. It's like you're introducing yourself to something completely different, and it's just a lot to take in. But as you play through each game and take your time, I don't think it's really that confusing. You just got to take your time. Yeah, there'll be some things where you have to go back and be like, okay, wait a minute, that didn't quite make sense, and I need a refresher. But that's normal with just about anything.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think like the series there's a lot to remember for sure, and it's definitely a little bit of a nuanced topic, but I think it's unnecessarily nuanced in some angles, and the reason I say that is because you don't really need to understand every single tiny little detail and character dynamic to enjoy the series. But if you're trying to, then I get it if it's sometimes a lot or more than you're used to, because like Kingdom Hearts, people, not everyone is into like comic books, or not everyone watches like the MCU, or not everyone watches these series that are like fully franchised and have like multiple games that all have a continuous story. Like Kingdom Hearts is rare in that instance, where like Sora, I think when KH3 came out, didn't he get a Guinness like world record for being the longest like running pro tag in a JRPG or something like that? Uh, oh, I think it was something like that. He was the main character in like the most like games for a Square Enix RPG, and that just goes to show you that the story. It's not that these stories are necessarily convoluted in their own right. Now, if we get into the Key Saga, I'm not gonna lie, I can understand if you call it the Key Saga confusing, straight up. But when it comes to the mainline games outside the Key Saga, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop, like I don't think these stories are really that convoluted, and like there's many animes, there's many pieces of media that tackle these plot points in even more convoluted and crazy ways. But when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, I think it's a mixture of there's a lot of games, and there's a decent bit of times, especially nowadays, between games and between some plot points getting like revealed and like hashed out. With an anime, you gotta wait like weeks, or you gotta maybe wait a week, or like a season that comes out next year. With Kingdom Hearts, oftentimes like something that might be revealed in Chain of Memories might not get answered until like, I don't know, recoded days. I don't know, like this the game way later down the line, or some in Birth by Sleep might not be fully answered until Kingdom Hearts 3 comes around, like almost 10 years later. And that's what makes like the plots feel like they're a lot more confusing than they are. But when you take like the consumer approach and just kind of you let things play out, you start to realize things aren't as bad as like they seem. And that's mostly a comment for new fans or people who feel like they've fallen out of the story because they feel like it's a little too silly. There's a lot of depth in this silly story, in my opinion. Is there anything that you think a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans like don't know?
I would say the misconception behind how Sora obtained the Keyblade. Like, I've seen a lot of people in the fandom believe, oh, he got the Keyblade because Ven was in his heart. And it's been stated multiple times in interviews by Nomura that like Sora didn't inherit anything from having Ventus in his heart. Like like Sora's just housing Ven's heart within him. It's not doing really anything for Sora. Like when Sora gets the Keyblade on Destiny Islands, Nomura has stated in an interview that Sora, while reaching out to Riku, the light we see right before he gets the Keyblade, that's the light within Riku's heart. And Sora touched it, and because he had the same necessary requirements to wield a Keyblade like Riku, he obtained Riku's Keyblade, but in that moment. So he basically accidentally snatched the Keyblade away from Riku. And The necessary requirement that Sora had to be able to wield the Keyblade was just strictly a strong heart, because that's all you need to wield the Keyblade. If you have a strong enough heart, anyone can grab or hold a Keyblade. And it wasn't until obviously later on, when Riku took the Keyblade back, that the Keyblade eventually chose Sora as its one true wielder. So I feel like amongst the fandom, it's always been that big misconception behind Sora being chosen by the Keyblade.
Okay, so you're saying like it was. You're saying the whole chosen one dynamic was just a big red herring, anyways, in KH1.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that Ultimania comment that Nomura made, and I like you reading it back to me like that. I love the way Nomura like sort of visualized that, because a lot of people like probably just interpret that scene as, oh, okay, Sora just kind of receives the Keyblade here, and they don't really fully understand the inner workings of it. They think maybe, oh, maybe this happened just because of Ventus, but no, he actually grabbed the Keyblade. Like literally, he touched Riku's light in that scene, and as like Keycast like was saying that, you could like visualize and see like when you look back at that cutscene that that's literally what's happening. Like Sora, you see this flash of light. That's Sora sort of grabbing the light like in Riku's heart, and kind of he sort of kind of snatches the Keyblade from him in that instance. But it's also because Riku was falling to darkness in that moment as well. So it's really interesting to hear like how much depth that one scene sort of has just for the rest of the franchise as a whole. So I guess that could bring us into like another topic. Well, before I get into that, Noah, what do you think about that? Have you heard about that before? Do you remember that?
I've heard that before, and not gonna lie, I kind of believed Sora did get the Keyblade because of Ventus, but it was because of and there are some videos that like came out back in the day that kind of talked about that to make it a lot of people think that's what happened. But basically what I heard was because Sora had the heart of a Keyblade wielder in it, when the Keyblade realized that it couldn't go to Riku because he was falling in the darkness, it went to the next best option, and that being Sora, mainly due to Ventus being in his heart. But now that because I think I did skip over that part of the Ultimania for a long time. So I didn't realize that Sora already had the strength of heart. He just didn't go through the inheritance ceremony like Riku did.
Yeah.
But I definitely it definitely lends credence to like an old theory I made long back in the day, like long before Kingdom Hearts 3, where I said that like Sora was the true inheritor of the Kingdom Key and not Riku, just based on some evidence I gave out, right? But it's kind of a callback to that, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
I mean, it's understandable though, because like it's understandable why some people would be a little like, but why that would be something that isn't known visually. Now, like ultimately, the point of that scene being Sora got the Keyblade. Like he's the Keyloader now. That's the main part that matters. Like, but it's locked behind the Ultimania, which is Japanese exclusive. Which, by the way, we'll be doing a podcast on in the future. And to be honest, we're going to be seeing a lot of Ultimania content whenever this releases over the next month, or I guess previous month, because this podcast will be released like probably a month from now. But still, like that, yeah, Ultimanias, man. Whew, there's so much info in those that is virtually undiscovered. Like a couple thousand people probably know about it on like my channel, if like you've been following me for the past 5.5 years. But there's so much stuff just lost, completely gone. That people don't know about in these books. We're gonna try to unveil them soon, just in the community period. So shoot, we're gonna do something during this drought. But what I want to transition off of that with is, how do you feel about the whole chosen one, I guess, dynamic in like Kingdom Hearts? Like, do you feel like it would have been better narratively if Sora had like stayed the chosen one, the Keyblade, or had been like the only Keyblade throughout the franchise, or do you think it's like fine the way like it's panned out? Like, do you relatively like the story that we've gotten so far?
Now, are you talking?
I
Oh, you go ahead, Noah. You go first.
So I have, so as anyone who's followed the series for a long time knows, Nomura, when he made Sora, he built Sora around the idea that Sora is just a normal boy. A normal boy you can find anywhere. There's nothing super special about him on a base level. And that's honestly how a lot of people have made their characters like in popular media, right? It's the idea that anybody could have filled this role. It just happened to be this person. And I definitely think it helped Sora being humble. It definitely helped him with not developing a sense of arrogance or entitlement to certain things, as I think Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 is more or less like a shining example of how low you can go once you feel like you're entitled to something and you don't receive it. Um, but at the same time, I also have issue with, because of Sora's origins, he's basically he dogs on himself all the time in front of others, making it think that he is not someone that can do anything in his group, which we all know that's not true. But like, say during Kingdom Hearts 3 when the Guardians fell, he was like, alone I'm worthless, and I could literally feel the entire community sigh when he said that, because no one in the community believes that's true.
I'd have to agree also with that because I really liked how Nomura stated in that one interview that Sora is literally just a normal boy you could find anywhere. And I'm just gonna piggyback off what Nomura said about how Sora feels like he's like worthless without his friends. Like I want to see Sora like develop more in the future when we get into KH4. Like I want him to learn that yes, you feel like you're worthless without your friends, but missing your friends and not having them around you will also give you the strength to push harder and believe in yourself more to get back to them. And I feel like they're going to touch about that a lot more in the saga going forward. Like when you have Sora isolated in a foreign world away from his friends for like a good while. So I want to see that growth continue with him.
Oh yeah, I that's definitely one of the most exciting things about Kingdom Hearts 4. Sora has never really been, well, some people would say Dream Drop, but Dream Drop is kind of weird because even though he's alone, kind of, he has his Dream Eaters and he has friends who are watching over him. You know, he knows he's taking the Mark of Master exam, so I kind of think that's like a new specific. This time, however, Sora's essentially dead. He has we don't know if he's going to make it back, right? This isn't under the pretense of an exam or some sort of safe trial, which we figured Dream Drop was a pretty safe like Mark of Master exam until the ending. Like in KH4, he has never really been separated from Donald and Goofy, I think, from for like this long. Like even after Remind, it's already been over a year, right? Like who knows how much more time we're gonna find out has passed when KH4 starts. So like it's interesting. And I also I mentioned this before, but it's very fascinating to me because Kingdom Hearts does not very often do time skips. I mean, yeah, we have like prequel games and stuff, but in terms of like Sora's story, we don't have many time skips like after Sora gets to Keyblade. And Remind, I think, has the second longest time skip we've seen in the series. I think the longest one before that quote time skip was like between Chain of Memories and KH2, but there's a whole year time skip just after Limit Cut. It's like, oh, okay, or during Limit Cut rather.
We also got to take into account we don't know how time works on the other side too, because when in the
True.
trailer, Strelitzia said he's been asleep for 7 days since he arrived there. 7 days there could be honestly be a year in his reality, for all we know.
That would be insane. Imagine like just weeks are passing by in Quadratum, and like in like the realm of light, years are just passing. That I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of scary a little bit for Sora.
It's
It's
almost like what happened in the realm of darkness with Aqua. She didn't know time didn't exist there, so she couldn't tell how long she was wandering there. For her, it could have been days, but in the realm of light, it was years.
You know how much that would mess with your mentality if you were away for what you think was a week and turns out you were gone for a decade?
Yeah, that would be insane. But it was definitely much longer than that for Aqua though, because we saw her going through like the mental torment. So we don't know what exactly the time dilation is between like the realm of darkness and realm of light, but it's definitely it's something. It whatever sort of time Aqua experienced, it felt like a long time for her. We don't know if it was 10 years long, but definitely long enough. She didn't age much, but she definitely felt it. She definitely felt like she was gone from her friends for a long time. Um, I mean, even outside of that, you being in the realm of darkness for a week, like imagine how many heartless just you're never safe there. So a week in the realm of darkness would probably still feel like just torture. Like every step you take, like you could just die, fall to darkness. You have to be at 100, be operating at 100% at all times in that realm, or else like it's gonna get to you. You know. Um,
That's why I feel like she doesn't get enough credit. Like people don't understand. Like she was a I mean, we obviously don't see how the length, but she's in a place where, like you said, Heartless are spawning endlessly. And it's just her alone. Every day, even if she goes to sit down and relax, that's all she sees is just darkness and Heartless. That's all you're seeing every time you're walking to a new location. You don't know how long it's been. You're just fighting waves and waves of enemies that do not stay gone.
I think Aqua's character is so underrated in Kingdom Hearts. Like, well, I don't know about underrated. Aqua's popular, right? But I guess I feel like her character and story isn't the like. I feel like her character and story isn't talked about enough. Like she has a very well told story of like resilience, and I think a lot of people when they first play Birth by Sleep, they're thinking to themselves, why would Aqua become a Keyblade master and not Terra in this instance, right? Like, does Ericus not see that Terra has the potential to be a master, yada yada? Like, I mean, obviously Terra, he has this thing throughout Birth by Sleep being tempted by darkness. Some people were thinking Ericus shouldn't be that strict on Terra. No matter what your thoughts are regarding that, there's I think a clear reason Aqua is a Keyblade master is because despite it all, Aqua almost all the time manages to make like the choice that puts like others first every single time. Like weirdly, like she is very Sora like in that instance, which I think is why they tried to establish a sort of parallel between the two and 0.2. Um, but it's Aqua's resilience, I think, is like definitely one of her defining character traits. Because to be trapped in the realm of darkness for 10 years, and even though someone else had to save her, to still survive and like be alive for like most of that time, on top of like having to fight like her friends constantly, having to fight having to fight Ventus, having to fight Terra, having to also like fight Xehanort. It's like she went through a lot, man. She has one of the more tragic stories and tragic experiences in Cage. Like a lot of what happened with the Birth by Sleep trio fell on her, like in many ways. Like that, I don't know. Birth by Sleep. I love
That's
Birth by
why
Sleep.
Ericus apologized to her because he basically made her the de facto like head of the group in a sense,
Yeah,
or like the de facto caretaker because Aqua had already devoted herself to looking after Ven, right? She viewed Ven as like a little brother to her. But when Ericus had tasked her with looking over Terra, she now developed this idea that Terra's fall of the darkness now falls on her shoulders.
exactly. Do
And there's something else I really want to point out that we talked about with Aqua's descent into darkness, just being in the realm of darkness for that long. Like Riku talked about how much the realm of darkness messed him up, and he was not in there for nearly as long.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. It's he wasn't in there for as long, but Riku went through a different journey, not just in the realm of darkness, but he had to Riku had to live with darkness in him. It's a little different from like what Aqua experienced, where like Aqua, she's a character who's like not pure of light, but she's a very lighthearted character. Like she's a very positive and like I guess I won't say outgoing, but she's a warrior of light. I'm gonna say that she's a warrior of light, and she's trapped, and she has to endure being in the realm of darkness for this long. Riku, on the other hand, he had more of a conflict. He had a conflict where he didn't even get to develop into a warrior of light. So he got introduced to darkness first, you could kind of say, right? I mean, aside from Terra, bequeathing him the Keyblade and whatnot, like Riku never got the chance to see what that would turn into. And his first interaction when he gets off the Destiny Islands is basically with darkness, and then that darkness stays with him, manipulates him, and so many people try to abuse that darkness within Riku because they know that Riku has the potential to be just this ultimate warrior. Maleficent's like abusing him, Xehanort taking over his body, and then even after like we defeat Ansem, defeat Xehanort, freaking like he then has to go on his own journey. Like even Diz after that is sort of kind of like using him to a degree. It's like Riku low key had to find himself and did get a chance to be himself while also fighting darkness for basically the whole year Sora was asleep.
I agree, and that's why I really love Chain of Memories because that really like showed what Riku was dealing with on his journey inside that castle. Like you said, he has like he's dealing with like an internal struggle. Like he has someone else's darkness in him, not knowing when it could just pop out and overtake him. And he had that like strong fear, and he's fighting hard to contain it until he eventually learns that he can utilize that to help others.
Exactly. Like, man, Kingdom Hearts characters are so good. Like, my favorite thing about this franchise, favorite thing. Like, we can talk about story, we can talk about gameplay. I like my favorite thing, and this is like it goes beyond just Kingdom Hearts. I think good characters will like carry any media. Like, Kingdom Hearts has amazing characters. Like, there's not many franchises where I think, or like there's like select ones, and most of them are like movies or comic books or something like super franchised. There's not that many series where you could sit there and say like multiple characters are someone's favorites. Like you have series like Naruto, you have like Dragon Ball, and these are like animes that have been long running. For games, I feel like there's a couple, but like Kingdom Hearts has like a dozen. Like there's like a large handful of characters that I think like can be many people's favorites. Sora, Riku, Roxas, Aqua. You got freaking Xemnas, Ansem, the Xehanort's period, young Xehanort. It's insane, dude. Like there's just so many characters.
I'm gonna be honest, it's honestly amazing to see how big this franchise has grown since Kingdom Hearts 1. Because in Kingdom Hearts 1, we had very little original characters, and to see what it's now grown into, like you said, there's just so many characters now that anyone could like because we've developed all these different characters and their journeys.
Exactly. But I gotta ask, as we were talking about like the story and talking about characters, like it's been fun reminiscing and talking about like some of our favorite moments and talking about Riku and Aqua. What is I was going to ask this later, but I feel like it's fitting right now since we're talking about story. What is your favorite Kingdom Hearts story?
Favorite Kingdom Hearts story? Are we talking like game wise, or are we talking by like what do you mean by story?
Like, what Kingdom Hearts game you think has your favorite narrative? Like, which one do you think does it the best?
Oh, best narrative. Oh, that's tough. Best story narrative. Um, I want to say, I want to say Chain of Memories.
Really? Okay.
Yes, story wise, I want to say Chain of Memories. Um, Game as a whole, I love Kingdom Hearts 1, but if we're talking story, like storytelling, I like Chain of Memories a lot.
I I really like that answer. Chain of Memories. A lot of people like Chain of Memories story, but it's interesting to hear someone say that's their favorite story. That's really cool. Okay. How do you feel about that, Noir?
Honestly, I love Chain of Memories. I love the gameplay, but I love the story especially more. Just because it's I think regular Pat put it best in one of his videos because he said because a lot of the cutscenes, a lot of the important stuff is happening in between the floors of Cast Oblivion that gives characters, Sora, Dawn, and Goofy, or like say Riku and Mickey, the chance to talk and interact with each other, and just allows them to develop and grow as a group, so you can really feel the growth along with it. Not to mention what happens in Castle Oblivion is just like so impactful to the rest of the story and so good, and it's so weird that like the events of what happens for Sora in that game is the one journey he can't remember.
Yeah. I think I'm a little different when it comes to Chain of Memories. I think a lot of people have Riku's story as their favorite in Chain of Memories. I actually think Sora's story is a little bit better than Riku's, just a little bit, and it's mostly because I think Sora's dynamic. It's not because Sora gets angry. I do like that Sora gets angry in that game. I feel like that's like a very common thing to say. Oh, Sora shows emotion in that game. Sora shows emotion throughout the whole series. I don't like when people say he only shows emotion in Chain of Memories. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, I think Sora and Naminé's dynamic in particular is one of the most fascinating dynamics in the entire franchise because it shows a trait of Sora to just innately like care about others, kind of just like regardless of the situation. And you could say that's like a generic trope with like most pro tags, and it is, but I feel like what makes Sora so special to many people is the way he does it. It's not the trope itself. It's not the idea that okay, he's a classic good guy pro tag that'll like save anyone and always do the right thing. No, it's why he does the right thing. It's how he does the right thing and the message he leaves you with when he does it. Because it's not about how Naminé manipulated his memories. It's about this is a person, even though she's a nobody. This is a person who is like being manipulated by the organization, who deserves a chance to like, you know, live,
Live.
breathe. Like Kyrie said in KH3, like deserves to feel the wind on her face and like see this view. It's like I don't know, like those like moments, and those messages in KH, I think is really what makes like the series so emotional for many people. Like shoot, Kingdom Hearts fans, they crying over everything. Like you saw how many people cried when Sora came to Smash. Like that was a moment right there. Like that was like one of the most
That that's
validating
like a
things ever.
moment for the history books.
Really, it just was. Um, how do you feel about Kingdom Hearts 3? Talking about story, a lot of people you've been around. You know the divisiveness with KH3 and its story. What was your side with that with how the Dark Seeker saga ended? Were you a little disappointed? Were you like do you love it? Like where were you at with KH3?
Um, the first time I played KH3, I would say I didn't take it all in as I should have the first time around because I think I was just so like caught up and like excited to play the game and like and just get play it after waiting for so long. Um, I'd say it was on my second playthrough of the game though, where I really start to like delve more and like grasp everything they gave me with the story. And honestly, I think it was fine. I had no issues with really anything story-wise in the game. I enjoyed KH3. I had a great
Really?
time.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you have anything in KH3 that you feel like they should have maybe done better, or like you think they would that you think was like weirdly written or weirdly executed? Like, how do you feel about like the Keyblade Graveyard climax and like Xehanort and stuff?
The Keyblade Graveyard, I thought was really well done. I like how they had us like do like boss after boss and the characters returning. Like, it felt like you were wrapping up everything that was being built, and I think they did it great. I didn't think it felt rushed or anything. I guess maybe you could have done more with the Disney worlds themselves, like do a little more, I guess like try to make the Disney worlds feel a little more like flow along with the overall narrative of the story just a little bit more.
Yeah,
Like they did like somewhat here and there with some worlds, like for Tangled or Frozen. The overall narrative was the organization was keeping an eye on the new seven hearts because they can utilize them in case Sora failed to get his guardians. But I felt like you could have done a little bit more with that. I mean, it was just like, okay, they're just because the organization said they're not going to harm them or anything. They're just watching them. So Sora was really there to just take care of whatever internal conflict that was happening with the world and its residents itself, rather than the organization. So I feel like
This
that
was
would probably be the only
actually
thing.
I'm sorry to just jump in
No,
like
you're
that.
fine. Go ahead.
But that was something I actually talked with someone about, or I commented on a video on TikTok because someone had talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 and how they executed worlds, and then someone said that Kingdom Hearts 3 was like the worst with Disney integration um because they said, oh, they didn't really incorporate a lot of the plot stuff in the Disney movies. I'm like, did you even play the game? And I literally commented, every world included an organization member, which is more than what I can say for a couple games in the series. That, they'll have a couple strong worlds that will have that, but other than that, like, they will just be full filler. Not even like 90% filler. Some plot stuff just full on filler.
Yeah.
I
Um,
agree.
and so I said that Kingdom Hearts 3 did it probably better than a majority of the series, if not the. I would say the only game that probably did it better, in my opinion, was Kingdom Hearts 1.
Thank you.
But right, Kingdom Hearts 1 handled its Disney worlds and like integrating the plot perfectly. Right, there's no question in my mind. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is a close second. So
I think Kingdom Hearts 3's biggest issue is that I truly think this is the biggest issue. I think the worlds will be viewed drastically differently and I think partial proof of this is when you often see newer Kingdom Hearts fans get into the series, I've noticed whether KH3 is their favorite or not doesn't even matter, because Kingdom Hearts is like the only franchise where I've seen someone say KH3 is their second favorite game and they hate the game. I'm like, what the heck, bro?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
they're bandwagons.
It's like second favorite's bad. That's crazy. But anyways, I do get it though. It's KH3. You don't want, you're not hyping up your second favorite game for 13 years. But regardless, I digress. When newer Kingdom Hearts fans get into Kingdom Hearts 3, regardless of what their favorite is, as they've been through the franchise, often people have gone to the franchise via, the Steam or Epic Games releases, or maybe like the all-in-one collection after KH3 and Remind came out. They're a lot more positive on 3's story, like generally very positive on 3's story compared to like fans who had been waiting and building this up for years. So I do think the hype and the build up of it did have an effect on the game. But it's mostly, I personally mostly blame Square for this, not gonna lie, and it's because the trailers spoiled way too much, and these people sometimes try to mitigate how the impact of the trailers. Most of these Kingdom Hearts trailers got millions of views. Like, Kingdom Hearts fans were clocked, and like the people who are on social media, even still to this day, the people who are making content on the game, the people who are in your YouTube comment sections, a lot of them watched every single trailer as it was coming out. Most people don't do that for most franchises, and admittedly, people do that a lot nowadays, just in general, because media spreads. We're in like this day, we've been in this day and age where like it's very accessible to find out when a new trailer comes out. I think I only saw like one Dream Drop Distance trailer before I had the game, and that's because I saw it on my TV randomly. It's like, I think because of the trailers, and this is how they affected the Disney worlds, they revealed every single org member in the Disney worlds, and one of the biggest mysteries coming out of Dream Drop was who are the 13 vessels, who are all of them, like, well, who is Xander going to choose, who's he going to bring back. And throughout KH3 they revealed some of them, and it was hype. They made for amazing moments in these trailers, but like, they revealed everyone. They even revealed Demix and Vexen, who were considered the bench warmers in the trailers. Literally, they overspoiled the organization so much, the villains, that they revealed the people who weren't even in the organization. I remember I made a video post before KH3 came out, counting all the organization members in the trailers, and I came up with like 15. I'm like, wait, why is there 15 org members? What's going on here? Like,
I think the biggest issues was they showed, there are two characters that I feel like they just should not have shown at all. Right, or really 3, but the 2 that I say, they're not even, like, one of them's not an org member, but this is a big deal for them to be shown in a trailer. Roxas, and then showing Shion in a trailer even briefly.
Yeah.
That was a huge mistake.
It was a mistake, but I would say that, like, despite that mistake, people still love that scene. Now, you can't say the same about the Disney Worlds, because with the Disney Worlds, and I want your input on this, Keycast, like, imagine, like, because you said Chain Memory is one of your favorite stories earlier. Imagine they never revealed Marluxia in Chain of Memories, or they never revealed Marluxia for KH3. He was like, you went into KH3 with it being a complete mystery, and you just saw him randomly entangled. Imagine the pop off, like hardcore KH fans would have had, like seeing him. And because remember how hard we popped off when we saw the trailer back in the day, like the first like trailer with Marluxia, and we're like, Marluxia's back. That's insane. And like, imagine if we played the game like that and we just saw it happen.
Honestly, I agree with you there. I wish we could go back to that time where, like, back when Kingdom Hearts was first starting out. Like, when I first picked up Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, I didn't know what worlds I was even going into. Like, when I played those games for the first time, every new world was a surprise for me because I didn't
Yeah.
know, get spoiled or anything. In today's age, it's very hard because now that's what they're going to do for promoting future games. They're going to show off the worlds, the gameplay. Um, but I believe that they shouldn't. I agree. They should not have shown most of the organization members. They should have really just stuck to the Disney worlds, and also that final trailer we got. We should have never gotten that because even that final trailer that showed the Keyblade graveyard that spoiled a lot
That
too.
was the worst trailer for sure.
That was the worst. I think if you're going to promote a Kingdom Hearts game, stick to strictly the Disney side of it. Show the worlds, show the gameplay. Do not show like core story things, like maybe very minor ones, but don't do any heavy spoiler ones. Like
Imagine they
keep that a
didn't
mystery.
spoil the Guardians losing, and we saw that happen. That would have been
I would have
crazy.
lost my mind.
I would have lost my mind too. Yeah, I would have been like, what?
That would have actually have been like you. I legit think some people like, because my first thought when that scene happened in KH3 was, oh, I saw Roxas in the trailer. Like certain scenes hadn't happened yet. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was still a little shocked, a little bit, right? But I knew like I knew things would work out another way because now not everyone analyzes the trailers, but obviously as a content creator, and this is the curse because I'm going to do this again with KH4, unfortunately. We analyze everything. I'm like, I analyze it because I'm a content creator, but it's also because I'm a KH fan too. Because it's like, man, I would regardless nowadays. And on your topic with worlds earlier, they've always revealed every world for Kingdom Hearts games. They've always done that. It's just the time period they do it in now is kind of bad. Like for KH4, I'm not gonna lie, it would be kind of throwing if like Star Wars was in the game and they didn't like advertise it. Like you're kind of throwing a little bit marketing wise.
No, 100%. That's their biggest selling point is the Disney worlds. They're gonna have to show them off because even people who weren't even really big KH fans, when KH3 was coming out and they showed off Frozen, Big Hero 6, that people who didn't even know what Kingdom Hearts was were just buying the game because those are like awesome, their favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, like imagine we don't have to imagine this probably happened somewhere, like like those moms who buy their kids like games for the first time. There's probably some like 12-year-old girl out there who like went to Disney World and she fell in love with Anna and Elsa, and her mom wanted to get her like a Disney game for Christmas because she likes Disney, and her mom saw Cage 3 and saw Frozen was in it somewhere. Like she maybe found that out online, or maybe it's on like the back cover. I actually don't own Cage 3 physically. I know. I don't know what's on like the back cover of the game.
How
I
do you
don't.
not own it physically?
What is wrong with you?
Modern gaming. I'm gonna say that. Modern gaming.
Don't
That's
blame
fair.
modern gaming.
I actually, this is so bad because I mean, I've moved around a lot in my life, so I definitely lost games over time. I actually don't think I own a single KH game physically right now.
Oh God.
I know I need to
Blasphemy.
fix that. I know. I used to have them all, but bro, look.
You will be excommunicated
Well,
from the chat.
well,
I'm
let me ask
unsubs
you
right
this.
now, dude.
Are you a digital gamer or are you more physical?
I have been more of I've definitely been a digital gamer for the past like decade, honestly. Basically since the PS4 came out. What made the main reason this started happening though is because when the PS4 first came out, I like I was still buying games physically, right? Like I was still buying games physically because I didn't want to take up so much space on my console buying them digitally. But what happened was, I forget what happened with my OG PS4, but like the disc drive broke essentially. I think it was because of my brother or something. I was still like 14, 15, like middle school, high school age. And it broke, and because it broke, I never got it fixed. I only ever bought a PS4 Pro right before KH3 came out. And by that point, I was already used to having all my games like digital, so I just kept doing it, and that's kind of what happened. Which
That's fair.
I do.
But you got to get them back though. You
I
got to
know.
get those physical.
I do have intentions to because another thing is I want to start a big Kingdom Hearts collection, but I don't want to start a big Kingdom Hearts collection until I like am more settled down in an area. Like I don't want to like I'm in the phase of my life like early 20s where I'm like bouncing around apartments and stuff. So like when I have a collection, I don't want to be moving constantly. When I'm more settled down, that's when I want to start building up my collection personally.
That's honestly the best way to go about it. Trust me.
Yeah, moving. I've definitely I moved around a lot as a kid, so that's kind of why games like got lost and sold and yada yada like over time. So military family, so we moved around quite a bit, and I don't know, it was hard to keep track of a lot of things, and I know how easy it is to lose stuff when you're moving, or just for things to get misplaced or yada yada. So if I form a cage collection and I did move and then I lost some stuff, I would crash out, bro. I do have some
Honestly,
cage
that's
merch
valid.
though. I have other cool cage merch. Like I have the Ultimania books, for example. Um, but what was I about to say outside? I forget what my original point even was. I completely forget. Anyways, I guess
We were talking about the worlds. It was just the worlds and how they go about advertising them.
Oh, yep, that is what we were talking about. Disney Worlds, I think. I don't know. I love Disney Worlds and Kingdom Hearts, and I think the stories for Disney Worlds, it it sounds like weird, and we mentioned this in the past podcast. I I care about Disney's story, but I also like the Disney Worlds don't need to have like the most important story in the world for me to enjoy them. If they have story and if they have a lot of crazy narrative, it is a plus. But like the Disney Worlds, like they've always been more like on the thematic end. Disney Worlds are chosen based on like the themes of the game, and for me that's always been really cool, and it's always been like enough for me. I don't blame people for pushing for more, but like I also another aspect of Kingdom Hearts I love, licensed games don't really get made that much nowadays. How often do you see, like, we had a Ratatouille game, like a full scale Ratatouille game on the PS2? Amazing, incredible. We had an Incredibles game on the PS2 that was like peak.
Goated
Incredibles
game.
might be
Goated
in Kingdom Hearts
game.
4.
Goated game.
Yeah, really good game. Incredibles might be in Kingdom Hearts 4. Encanto might be in KH4. Moana might be in KH4. Like, we don't get these, like, big, fleshed out license-based games anymore like we used to when THQ was going crazy back in the day. So, like, Kingdom Hearts is really one of the only games where you see these worlds fleshed out beyond the movies. It's the only game. It's the only franchise that still does it. Like, what other game has fleshed out, like, the forest of Tangled like that? Like I can't really think of one that's like of high quality.
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. I will say this though, when it comes to the worlds of Kingdom Hearts, when they use the Disney worlds, I actually made a post about this years ago, and I said, people, what do you prefer when you go to when you play Kingdom Hearts and you go to your the Disney worlds? Do you want them to retell the story of the movies, or do you want them to do original stories? And I saw like a nice mix between the fandom, because this is another reason why I like KH1, because a lot of the worlds you go to, you're not always reliving the entire story of the movie. They
Yeah,
all had their original stories in them.
I
So
agree.
you get something new and fresh on top of being in your favorite Disney movie.
Yeah, that's something KH1 does really well. And honestly, a lot of people's favorite worlds in KH3 are the ones that have original plots. For me, my favorite world in KH3 is actually Tangled. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite worlds, period, in Kingdom
100%
Hearts.
agreed.
But a lot of people don't like that world. A lot of people use that world as an example, or they lump it in with Frozen as like a retelling. So I'm mixed when it comes to retellings and original worlds. I think the best case scenario is a mix of both. And a mix of both usually will just end up being an original world or claimed as an original world. But here's my argument, right? I'm sure you're aware of like Sora Alam and like he's a former, or he is still a keykeeper. I don't know why I said former, but he's a cool friend of mine, and we often go back and forth about KH3 for many reasons because they don't like KH3 in that server. But one of the big things we go back and forth on, Dean hates Toy Box, and he's talked about this on like the Keykeepers, their like little get-togethers and podcasts and stuff before too. He hates Toy Box. He hates Gigas. He thinks the world would have been way better if they just did a Toy Story movie. Because then you see more original. You see like you get to go into Sid's backyard. It feels more like Toy Story essentially. Sometimes when they go too overboard with the original elements, they risk it not even feeling like it's like it's like them putting a Toy Story like. You know the thing we say about KH2 worlds or themed hallways? That's kind of what you run into a little bit when it comes to like not like just doing something too original for a world, because Galaxy Toys is not in Toy Story like at all, and like most of the world aside from Andy's house, which you're in for maybe like 10 minutes at most, with cutscenes even, like that world that's the only part of the world that's familiar to Toy Story really. So I understand, and that's kind of my argument with retellings as well. Because let's say they do a Star Wars world, bro, I would I'm a big Star Wars fan, by the way. I would crash out if we got a Star Wars world, and instead of fighting Darth Vader, I'm fighting some like freaking heartless amalgamation of like him with like Xehanort controlling him or something. I don't know. That would be so whack to me. Like I would hate that.
No, I
Defeat the
agree.
Darth Heartless.
I agree what you're saying. I was gonna say with Tangled, another reason why I really like the world, and I'm thinking back more about it. I think one of the reasons why I really liked that world the most, even though it was a retelling of the movie, is how engaging the world was.
Yes.
And that segment where you, and then now it's optional, but being given the option to interact with Rapunzel as you're exploring the forest, like get her the birds, or make the sunflowers fly in the air, or splash water in the pond nearby, or even the dancing segment. I think that's one of the reasons why I really love that world compared to all the rest, and I want to see more of that as we go forward. I want to see Sora actually feel like he's a part of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because in the movie, Rapunzel, like honestly, Flynn isn't even showing her like, well, he is showing her like what life is like outside the castle, but Rapunzel's also figuring a fair bit of it out like herself. But like in the game, it kind of feels like you're doing it. It feels like you're showing Rapunzel all this stuff, and because it's optional, it's like, man, I get to show Rapunzel like what it's like to have dandelions flying in the air, like what it feels to play around a pond, or like these bunnies, or like, you know, singing birds. Like you're doing like this like Disney princess stuff with her, and it's so cool. Like that world I think has a lot of gameplay storytelling and interactions that is so fun, and that is one thing about Disney World I think is so underrated, because seeing these Disney characters interact with Sora is a X factor, because you get to see them, I guess, in just a different light than you normally would in the movies. Like I said earlier, when it comes to like the games and stuff that they used to make back in the day on the PS2, this is like where they get to flesh out different aspects of the movie nowadays in Kingdom Hearts, because nothing else is really doing it. The Disney games that are out right now are usually like some sort of live service games like Speedstorm or Disney Dreamlight. These games are cool and all. Like Speedstorm's probably one of the best racing games that have come out recently. The gotcha elements I will heavily criticize, but the actual racing elements really fun. Disney Dreamlight is basically Disney's Animal Crossing or Disney Sims. It's a really fun game too, but like, I don't know, it's not the same as like a full scale Ratatouille Incredibles game. Man, that's kind of all I have to say about that. I'm glad you agree with the Tangled pick. Tangled, that world is great. I love that world so much.
No, yeah, I loved how they did that. They executed that world perfectly.
So, to end off the podcast, because we went over an hour a little bit. Probably not mine. I'm having a lot of fun, but let me hit you with the rapid fire questions whenever you're ready, and then Noir is going to ask a question at the end as well.
That's sure. Go right ahead. Just hit me with them.
I bet. All right, so I used to have a list for this. I lost the list, so I'm gonna go off the top of my head. We already know what their favorite.
Okay.
Well, actually, we asked what their favorite story was. Or what's their favorite Kingdom Hearts game?
Kingdom Hearts 1 will always be my favorite. And it's not because of nostalgic purposes. It's just what Kingdom Hearts was meant to be. I felt like it executed it perfectly compared to the other games. Like Kingdom Hearts is supposed to be about a boy who goes off to other worlds, and these are foreign worlds that he has nothing that he doesn't know about. So when you get put into those worlds, it's like you get that same feeling. I don't know where to go when I'm exploring. I have to go out and wander to figure out where to go. I have to see these foreign worlds for what they are and learn about them. And I think Kingdom Hearts 1 executed that perfectly.
I I understand. I will never make a face at anyone who says KH1 is their favorite because that game, like I agree, that game kind of just it's kind of perfect in its own way because it's. I was talking about this with my friend Dylan. I know I said rapid fire questions, but I have to comment on this. Like I was talking with my friend Dylan the other day. I feel like compared to all the other Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts 1, no matter how you feel about the KH series, people even outside of Kingdom Hearts, that game is kind of just synonymous with the PS2 and with that era of gaming. I think like for the rest of gaming history, KH1 specifically, not even KH2, which is a lot of people's favorite in the franchise, not even 3 or BBS or these other games. KH1 specifically, that game is just like it's the start of everything. It is truly it's like I don't know. It's like the core of almost what gaming and what a collaboration project like should be in my head. It's is did everything so good. Anyways, second question: favorite Keyblade.
Favorite cube. It's always been Star Seeker, but I've been kind of leaning more towards Mickey's shooting star star cluster. My bad, not shooting star cluster Keyblade.
Really, Mickey's KH3 Keyblade?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like after playing Kingdom Hearts 3 for so many times and seeing that Keyblade, it's just something about it. Maybe it's the aesthetic and the design because it falls almost similar to Star Seeker's Keyblade because I always love Star Seeker. Just that Keyblade for some reason has just been kind of drawing my attention.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I made a face at that one a little bit. Not like a like I've legit never heard that before in my life, and I respect it honestly because honestly, you might be the first person I've ever heard say something positive about that Keyblade. And then you said it was your favorite.
I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about the Keyblade before. Is this not a well? Do people not like his new Keyblade?
I think I hang around like KH3 haters a little too much, even though I love KH3. So they like some people hate everything KH3 low key. They hate Riku's new Keyblade, Mickey's new Keyblade. I I don't know if I'd say that Keyblade's hated necessarily, but it's like I think people would definitely prefer Kingdom Key D. I respect the heck out of that though. I'm not even just saying it just to say it. Like I'm like, I like that. I don't hate that Keyblade either. I like that Keyblade. I was very surprised to hear that as their favorite. I respect that. All right, favorite character.
Favorite character in the whole series. Let me see. Favorite character. I would say Riku, and I like Zaldin a lot too.
Riku and Zaldin. Okay.
Riku just had such a great character arc and development, and Zaldin as just the character he was and the way he was introduced in Cage 2. I actually liked him more than most of the villains in Cage 2 just for his segment alone because One Beast Castle was one of my favorite worlds in Cage 2, and just the way they handled that world with Zaldin made me really like him as a villain.
Okay. I like that a lot. Um, No, Noir is Keycast our first Riku one. We've had a lot of Roxases and I think one Sora.
I think he is our first Riku one.
That's surprising. You're the first Riku, the first one to say Riku's your favorite. Let's go. Still, we still need
Alright.
another Sora though. Anyways, honestly, those are the main ones off the top of my head. I forget. Oh yeah, okay. What if you had one like major hope for like a future Kingdom Hearts game? What would it be?
Oh, big one major hope for a future key. Um, I definitely want Treasure Planet to be a world. It needs to happen. I'm sorry. I don't know if I hope Square is listening, but we need a Treasure Planet world. It needs to happen, and I think it would fit Cage 4 perfectly with the whole concept of Sora trying to like wanting to get home, back home to his place, because in Treasure Planet they introduced that whole gate that can open a portal to anywhere you want. So if Sora goes to that world and he hears that whole like idea of a treasure that can open a gate to any location you want to go to, maybe he'd be interested in wanting to get back home with it. So
Okay.
I see potential in that world a lot.
Okay. And final question from me: what is your favorite world in the
Oh
series?
God, favorite world in the entire series. Olympus.
Which one?
Oh, I would say Cage 3 is Olympus, just because of how much we got to explore. It was not just contained to the Coliseum; it was just more exploration.
All right. Okay, I like all of your answers. I have a question mark next to the star cluster one though. That's the only one I have a question mark next to. But all right, Noir, you go. You go ahead.
All right. I just have a couple questions. Firstly, in Kingdom Hearts 3, who is your favorite other playable character that isn't Sora?
Other favorite playable character that isn't Sora. I would say. Oh, yeah, didn't get much to play as with Riku. I want to say probably. I'd say Aqua. When we got to play as Aqua against Vanitas, I really enjoyed that.
Okay, okay. I was definitely surprised to see that I could play as Aqua during Kingdom Hearts 3 because they didn't show that in any of the trailers. I wasn't spoiled on that. So when that popped up, I was like, "Oh crap! Like, what the heck?"
Yeah,
Um,
you know what it is? It's like I'm trying to look back at all the characters we got to play as, even with Remind included. But you know what it is? A lot of those playable moments are just strictly to like tied to boss fights. So I feel like I didn't really get a chance to like appreciate them more and take it in. But for me, the most memorable one would probably be Aqua.
that's fair. That's fair. For me though, it's Kyrie, with Roxas being a close second.
I have to admit that being able to play as Kyrie was a great surprise, and that whole
That
boss
was
fight was
that was
awesome.
fantastic, fantastic. Uh, Next one, and this is kind of like it's gonna be a question you're gonna have to really think about. What is your favorite plot twist throughout the Kingdom Hearts series?
Ooh, okay. My favorite plot twists. Oh Lord, there's so many plot twists. Hmm, I want to say plot twist, plot twist. I'm gonna say the whole reveal with it's tough. Plot. Oh, here we go. The whole Terra being Xehanort, the apprentice to Ansem the Wise. Like
Ooh,
when Master Xehanort took over Terra's body, that and you hear him say the quote that Ansem says in Cage 1 right before you fight him, and then realizing he's Ansem the Wise's apprentice later on, that was the biggest plot twist for me.
yo, we gotta get Keycast on another episode. That was like actually the best answer. Like that that scene is so peak.
For me, I probably have to give it to you're helping the organization in Kingdom Hearts 2
With the
because
collecting hearts, with defeating the heartless and collecting hearts.
yes, because it makes you look back at everything you had done throughout that entire series at that point, throughout all of Kingdom Hearts 1, and now all like halfway through Kingdom Hearts 2, you're like, crap, I've been helping them this whole time. It completely changes the dynamic because you're just thinking, I'm just wiping out Heartless. I'm doing the world a favor, right? There's nothing to really think about. But then once you learn that, it's like, well, shoot, like everything I do now, I am knowingly helping them.
I agree, and the fact that you know this, you see that with Sora. Like he's like, "Do I stop helping people?" And then Goofy tells him, "No, technically you have to help people. It's just the right thing to do." You know, it just adds that whole conflict. Like, what do I do now?
it created a whole like gray area situation. Like, do you knowingly help your enemy while helping people, or do you stop helping your enemy, but at the same time you're allowing innocents to get hurt?
Yeah, it's just that whole dynamic. It really helped develop Sora's character in that moment.
It was great. It was absolutely fantastic.
Was there
Well,
any other
Hmm.
questions you had for me?
I
Let's see.
oh
I think that's it.
What about you, Prodigy? Are you good
yeah,
too?
that's it on my end.
All
I
right.
guess I could share my favorite twist would be the epilogue in KH3. I love the epilogue.
Oh, I
Oh,
totally
the Lucia
forgot
reveal.
about that.
Yeah, Lucia reveal
You know,
was that's one of my favorite cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts. Period. Like that is like execution done at its finest, in my opinion, for like the KH franchise. It was actually peak. Um,
I'm gonna say that's definitely up there too. The only reason why I didn't pick it though is because throughout the series I always felt there was something more to Zigbar's character, not knowing it was that,
yeah,
but I knew I had there was hints that there was something more to Zigbar when we played through the series. As for I don't know, maybe it was just me. When I played Birth by Sleep, I didn't see any clear signs of Terra being, Master Xehanort's vessel and being Ansem the Wise's apprentice. Like that was just totally out of left field for me.
yeah. Like those are both like insane twist, absolutely insane twist. But unless you guys have anything else to say, I think it's fine to end it here.
What about you guys? What are your favorite Keyblades or, favorite,
Oh, oh, okay. Oh,
games?
you're the first person turning back on us. Okay. Kingdom Key for me, for sure. For Keyblades, character Sora, favorite games KH3, and what else did I ask? I think favorite world. My favorite world in the entire franchise is KH1 Hollow Bastion. Favorite Disney World is Kingdom of Corona, Tangled.
Okay, all right. What about you, Nor?
Let's see. Favorite Keyblade, To Become One. I'm a Roxas stan, and To Become One was just a cool looking Keyblade. Uh, favorite character, Roxas. Favorite game, Kingdom Hearts 3. Favorite world, I might have to give it to Hollow Bastion Kingdom Hearts 1 as well.
Okay.
That is a really good one. Uh, what other questions were there?
What are your hopes for KH4? Give me something like you guys really hope for in KH4. Like what do you want to see? Like what do you want them to do in KH4?
A more mature Sora.
Okay, a more mature Sora. I actually feel they're probably gonna go down that route with how dark it seems to be getting. What about you, Prodigy?
I honestly have a lot, but like, ooh, just one. I'll name like a couple small ones. I definitely want like humanoid bosses to be in the base game and not just be exclusive to like DLC type thing. Like I want them throughout spread throughout the base game a little more. I hope that they keep form changes in KH4, and I guess story wise, I kind of just can't wait to see the Key Saga like and like finally be flourished with voice acting, and like I can't wait to see like the to be rewarded for being a Key Saga fan for this long. I guess like all the stories that the Key Saga's been building up, it's kind of leading into Kingdom Hearts 4, and I'm excited about that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, I have one more question for you guys. Now, with Nomura's interview not too long ago about saying how he's making KH4 with the intent of possibly ending the series, how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel Kingdom Hearts should finally reach a conclusion, or would you guys like to see it flourish and continue even after the whole Lost Masters arc is over?
You can go first, Noir.
Um, so when it comes to the series ending, we all knew this day would come, right? For me, though, I just wasn't expecting it for him to announce that so fast. But you know, I've been with this series since it came out. I have followed every release of every game. I've been there for everything with this series, and And when it comes to like the Lost Masters arc, if just based on the way Nomura is set up the Key Saga and everything, he made the Key Saga just be like, okay, this is literally like the start to all things Kingdom Hearts, the Master of Masters, the original Darknesses, right? These are like this is the foundation of everything that is Kingdom Hearts. So with this saga that we're going into now, we are facing them, and they are more than likely not going to be around afterwards. It makes sense that like that would be the end.
I agree. Like everything seems to have been building up to this final confrontation with the Lost Masters since it started with them, and now we are transitioning to them moving forward.
All right. Well, hold on. I like getting interviewed, man. I need to go on more podcasts myself.
I just
Anyways,
feel it's fair to I want to hear you guys too. I feel like you guys should be, hear your thoughts as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for joining us on this episode, Keycast. If you guys want,
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
no problem. Anytime, honestly. I definitely would love to have you as like a repeat guest every now and then. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow Keycast over on Twitter and hopefully soon to be YouTube. I appreciate you guys coming out, talking. But until next time, my name is Prodigy.
I'm Keycast.
I'm Noir Low Bomber.
Okay, hold up. Keycast did it before Noir. Noir, you gotta,
Yeah,
gotta
I was about to say, like, he beat me to it.
Noir, you gotta step your game up, bro. Come on, that's crazy. You're the fastest one to do it so far. Let's go. Anyways, that was us. And remember to be nice, be safe, and take care, everyone.